Hello, hello. Well, hello, Jennifer. How are you doing? Oh, my. Okay, there we go. That's better. Had a little echo going on there. Let me know. I think you can hear me because I heard that. Good morning, Dawn. How are you doing? We are, just like I said last week during the live, we're going to play with some of the cards that I showed in the stamp launch. You guys got to choose. We're going to do a little bit of collaging. We're going to work some with some watercolor pencils and how, at least how I work with them, because it's all about control. And we're going to do some backgrounds, and we're going to I think we're going to do the easel card. So watercolors, embossing, all that fun stuff. And I did just make a post in the community on my channel, so make sure you check that out and the details for that on how you can choose your favorite bundle. There's 3 of them. I'm going to give all the details at the end of this live. So if you can't stay for the whole thing, don't think you're going to miss out. You're not. You'll be able to go during the replay to hear what that is all about. So it'll be fun. Let me clean my table. I got a lot of going on here. Yes, that's a technical term. But I hope everyone is doing well. Hopefully spring is coming in. Things are starting to get warmer. But let's just jump right in. Yes. I think the first one, of course, I can't find the card that we're going to make. That's funny. Oh, because they're buried. I think the first one that we're going to do together is this one. Now, I always choose a 7x7 card because I love real estate. Gotta have real estate on my cards. So 5x7 and larger are usually my go-tos. Yes, coffee, Dawn. I get it. I get it. I get it. So this is one of the ones that I showed. And we're going to make a different version of this one. So here I've got the full back with all of them. Here I'm going to create one where it has nothing in the back. And we're not going to use any acetate. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. No acetate. So that's what we're going to do for this one. So let's get started with this because it's going to need time to dry and we can do other things. Let me pull in some more of this. Okay. So yep, a little bit of heat embossing, all kinds of fun. I'm going to use the tangled block for this. Pull down my stamp positioner. We're going to use our watercolors for this one. And again, nothing fancy with our watercoloring. We can just have fun and just drop the colors. We're just going to drop the colors. So let's see here. So I'm not sure. I think today's going to be a long one. Yeah, I really do. I think it's going to be a long one. But we'll see how we go. Let's see. What is this? I know I measured it. I tried to actually do some prep, which is funny. for me to do, but I actually tried to, and I was actually going to stamp and emboss first so that you don't hear that obnoxious heat gun. But, yeah, no, I didn't do it. Alright, let me get this out. It really doesn't do much for protection, but for sprays it does. So I'm going to do my background first. I do want to have somewhat of a background coming off, and we're going to do that in speckled egg, and we're just going to have fun with some colors. Yeah, so you guys did that. We've got a mix of some oxides and the spray stains. My favorite picket fence. We saw Biddy use that yesterday. I just love this stuff. I love what it does, how it reacts. All right, so let's get these shook up. Now, for me, the key to backgrounds is water. And yes, I label my bottles. Yes. I have to, because just label, because I also have one of these bottles. Now, it's in a different color, but it's filled with rubbing alcohol, because I use that to clean a lot, especially glass and all of that fun stuff. Yeah. Well, when we get to a certain point, I'll say why we should label. So what I like to do is get my colors down. Always clean the nozzle. And I think, yeah, I'm going to use... Your paper's always going to buckle. And then we're going to add just a little bit of the Uncharted Mariner. Just a touch. I'm going to add a little bit of Salvage Patina, just in some areas. Now we spray it with water, because that gets, at least in my opinion, the colors moving. And I don't go full force. I just, lightly spritz it, because I love all these bebop-bops. That's a technical term. I just like that look. So I just let it, a light rain going on here. And then finally, we're going to come in with the picket fence. Now, even though this is a spray stain, it's still, you want to make sure you shake it up. And I just love what this does. It just adds this soft touch. If you push down as gently as you can get big droplets, or you can lift this up and just drop it. To me, it's like watching watercolor, and it just explodes. Absolutely love it. Love, love, love that. I like how that's looking, and now I'm just going to set this aside to dry. I am an impatient crafter. Yes, I am. But when it comes to these backgrounds, I really like to let them go, because they're still moving, they're still merging, they're still blending as they go. And when we take a heat gun to it, it stops that. It freezes it. This is all my personal opinion, but it's just going to keep going and keep moving. So we're going to set that aside to dry. Okay. I don't know where I'm going to set it aside to dry. I'll set it there. There we go. Okay. Now let's do some stamping while that's drying. We can move these out of our way. And I'll move my water bottle out of the way. And let me get one more thing. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Needed my water for our watercolors. Now let's do some stamping. It is mesmerizing, Dawn. It very much is. Um, it's just fun to watch. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp these in my VersaFine Black, and then I'm going to use my clear embossing powder to coat them. And that's one of the best things that, oh my, that when you emboss, and if you're curious about watercoloring, embossing your images can really be helpful. It'll contain the watercolor if you feel it's getting out of control. And these will be easy to fussy cut. We're just going to place those down. And let's see. I'll actually use one of the sentiments. Let's get that in there. As well. Pick those up. And yes, my stamps are well loved. All of my stamps look like this, whether it's my line or this, but they still stamp beautifully. And I do clean them. But when you use VersaFine, it's an awesomely, it's a fast drying pigment ink. I like to say it's thick, so it really hangs on there. Oh, and it didn't pick up my sentiment. That's okay. We'll push that down. And I find, get that out of the way. I like to use these sticky mats. I just want that one spot. So the paper I'm working on is Bristol Vellum. To me, it's the same as Bristol Smooth. The difference is it just has a little bit, just a touch of texture to it. And I think it's a good choice too for watercolors. I like it also as a mixed media because it's a little thicker than regular mixed media papers. And it's the Canson XL. I just love the Canson XL papers. And they're at a great price point. If you really start getting into watercoloring and all of that, I think it's also more versatile, especially if you like watercolor pencils, watercolor markers. I do think that they just work better on the Bristol paper. as odd as that sounds. And now I've got black all over me. And we're going to get our embossing powder on that. Biddy, how are you doing? She snuck in there. So we're just going to make some obnoxious noises with our heat gun. And I think I did want to stamp more, but we're going to use other shapes. All right, annoying sound if you want to turn your volume off. Let's see. Hello, Cordelia. Let me get caught up. Let's see. All righty. So there we go. Got those. I also like the look. Oh, I need a touch here. Hold on. Missed that corner. I also like the look of the embossing with these. It just gives that little bit of shine to it. And I think it just fills it up. I'm going to do one more set, and then we won't be embossing anything. Well, yeah, we will, because we're going to do one of the collages. And let's pull in the portals. So we'll just do these real quick as well. We're going to do a mix. We're going to fill up this panel. And we're going to do the same thing. So after I was away just a little bit, but there was a reason. So we just had, for those of you that are new here, most of you know that are here, I am a certified Zentangle teacher, instructor. Absolutely love it. Love doing it. Did I miss that part? Yes, I did. And we had a conference. They call them Zenigans. And it was a wonderful 4-day conference, and very, very blessed that they do it online. And they are full days, and wow. This was just absolutely amazing. It was wonderful. We've got new tangles, new techniques Awesome. Just absolutely awesome. And yes, you all will be able to see them. So make sure you get into my community. I'll have it linked down below after we go live, like always. There will be techniques shown both in the free and the paid. So you never want anyone to think that they're going to miss out on something. There's just differences. For those of you that have joined the community, thank you so much in both realms. So happy to see you all there. And I hope you enjoyed the first installment that I have going on there. But then again, it was just absolutely awesome. Just wonderful. Um, they had people come in from other areas, parts of the country, and show their techniques, which were just wow. All right, obnoxious sound if you want to turn your volume off. All right. Good morning, Maureen. How many tangle sets do you have? So, Maureen, I actually have I had 4 launches with 4 stamp sets in each. Now, I said in the beginning that I'm going to have some special announcement. Now, you'll be able to see it in the replay. You won't miss anything. But I did post something in the community tab of my YouTube channel where it says choose your favorite bundle. So at the end, that's where I'm going to give all of the details for that. But there are 16 stamps in the set. And if you'd like to see them, I can grab them and show them to you. If you'd like. I'm up to 16. These here are the new ones that were just recently released. Let me get some clearer copies for you. So this is the release that just went live last week. These are great for borders. I encourage you to go to last week's live. You'll see all the samples that I made. This is a tangled block. This one's called a tangled maze. This one's a tangled floral box. And that one is called a tangled portal. And then now these are from the previous. This is a tangled Christmas. It's a large ornament. This is Biddy's favorite, a wave of tangles. That is her favorite. Yes, it is. This is a tangled bloom. This is a tangled mandala. This is a tangled moment. A tangled star. Looks like a starfish. This is a tangled flourish. A tangled heart. This is a tangled leaves. This was a suggestion by one of my followers who asked, and her name is actually part of leaves. So, Ave. This is a tangled snowflake. These are tangled ornaments, and then finally a tangled botanical. So those are all the stamps real quick. I know I passed by them so fast, but those are all the ones that we have designed so far. Thank you for asking. All right, let's do some watercoloring. But the Zen again was absolutely wonderful. It's so sad when it ends because you kind of get on that roll. But so many new tangles, which will be shown. Let me open up the watercolors here. You can use any watercolors. Any watercolors you want. You don't have to have fancy ones. Crayolas are awesome. Absolutely awesome. I'm going to roll the paper just to get it somewhat flat. I'm not going to tape these down because I don't want to. Let's see. I'm going to use, I love quill brushes. And we're just going to have some fun with some colors. Just going to add water to what's already in my palette. And all we're going to do, since we emboss these, I've got that barrier. So I don't have to be concerned that it's going to go outside unless I paint outside the lines. I'm going to go on to dry paper and I'm just adding my colors. I'm not being too specific, just getting those colors in. And what I mean by dry is the paper was dry and I'm coming in with some wet color on top. Now if I want to remove some, I can come in with a dry brush and just push it to an area. It's sopping up that color and I'm pushing it back. It's almost as if I'm lifting it. Again, always have a paper towel near you, and if you want some more color, you can just go right along the edge and just drop it. Just tap and drop, tap and drop, tap and drop. So that's how you can get your variegated look when it comes to all of that fun. Let's do the portal. Now you can also add water first. I find since we have the barriers, don't really need to add that water. Now I'm just going to take my fingers down like that, and now I'm going to add my color. I'm going to put green on the top of this one, and you can see since I put the water down first, that color just wants to move. That color is going to go wherever the water is. And then down here, I'm going to add a darker color. Just swooshing along, let those two merge. And I'm just picking up some colors and mixing it with my palette that's already there. You can tell what my favorite colors are. And then if you want them to merge even more, just tap around. And then you can do the same thing. Just push her back down. Take the water off. And just push. And then if you want this a little bit darker down here, we can come in with a blue straight away. Tap off a little bit, and then just drop. And then that's just going to move. We can tip, and you can see it's moving. That gives awesome effects as well. I like to say, just like I say with pattern paper, let it do the work for you. Let it just have fun, because it will. We can also drop our brush, and it's okay. It didn't go into the thing. Gotcha. Just have fun. It's okay. Again, I'm just filling in the space. I'm not looking for it to be perfect. Just want to add a little bit of red into this as well. I think working with your watercolors this way is a great way to learn what they're going to do. How are they going to react? Work on your color mixes and just have fun mixing in those colors. And if you don't want to color somewhere, just add water to it and just keep pushing back. So that's our first set. We're going to set these aside to dry. Well, I'm going to set them right here so I can see the colors so that we don't go crazy with colors. I think we need a purple. What do you think? So we got a malty color here. So let's put that one in here. You can also, you don't have to mix your colors. For this one, I'm just going to come in with more water because that's a lot. Purple is a very vibrant, strong shade. And you can see because of the embossing, it's just filling in those wells. I'm just going to push it back just a little bit just to give us those darkness, and then I'll tap in these areas here. And then I think I'm going to add, not that one, this one. Come down here in the corner. And then I'm actually mixing it within the tile to just pull that and have that go forward. Let's see. Oh, you're welcome, Maureen. Absolutely. Yes, Dawn, you're absolutely correct. So she says if you lightly spritz the back of your cardstock, it'll help lay flat as well. Yeah, that's something that I've shown, especially when I'm working with acrylics. If you wet the back of your paper and set it down and then wet the front, it stays flat. Now I'll do that like on a piece of glass or on a board if I don't want to tape it down, because then I'm stuck on my crafting surface. But they will stay flat. And when they dry, they go back to flat also. So yeah, you can absolutely do that. When you take a piece of paper and wet it on the top, that's what curls it. Because it's on the surface and it's soaking through. So it's making those fibers bend and loosen up. If you wet the back and then wet the front, both sides are wet. So it's like, okay, I don't have to bend. I'm just fattening out. If that makes sense. Good morning, Ave. Oh, good. I'm glad you enjoy those shortcuts. Yeah, we gotta have shortcuts, right? Because we gotta be able to craft quickly, right? Yes, absolutely. For these little ones, I'm going to actually use a Payne's Gray with a little bit of blue, just to give them a shadow type look. I'm just going to put them down into the corner with what's left on my brush. And then I'll come in with a clean brush, taking off some of that water just to pull it, just to have some of that color going up into the piece. So it's like you're adding your own shades to it. And then getting a lot of water off and then just coming down the corner and swiping. Coming down, swiping. Coming down, swiping. You can see it just removes that color for you. Let's see, a blue. Should we go with a blue? Or a bluish, because I'm not a direct blue, but with a little bit of green. we can get that. And I think I'm going to turn this. So this is, since we're going to try to do, 3 cards here today. And don't forget, I got my special announcement. It's kind of a weird way to do what I'm doing, but I think it's a safe way. So you can see just by doing that, pulling it up, you got this light. And again, we're only using one color. Have fun with one color. Let's see, what does this do? Ooh, okay, let's push that out of the way. When you don't like a color on your palette, you just push it away. And I think, yeah, I like that color. I do lean towards muted colors. I'm going to color up this whole thing. We're going to be fussy cutting these out. And then with a clean brush, I'm going to come in the center and I'm going to push it out to the edge. And every time you swipe, just tap the paper towel. And that takes the water off so that your brush becomes like a soppy mop. You'll just soak it up. And whenever you're done with a brush, no matter what type of brush it is, take it, put it on a piece of paper towel, and lay it flat. Don't keep it in your water. You always want to lay it flat, or if you got something that'll hold it up this way, you can. Getting water up into the technical term, and yes, this is a technical term, the ferrule of your brush, and when they're wood, it'll crack the wood. But your brushes can last you a lifetime, and that's the key point. Don't leave it in your water and let it dry on its side. All right, so here are our blocks that we've done for our easel card. We're going to set these aside and let these dry. See, easy watercoloring, and you can do it with any watercolors. Crayolas are awesome. Love Crayolas. Have no idea where I'm going to put these. Okay, I'll put them back here. All right. So that's all the watercoloring that we need to do. So this is mass making, because while they're drying, and when you have, if you do have tube watercolors, you can leave your palette open and this will dry. And all of this can be reactivated. It's the beauty of watercolors. Nothing goes to waste. All right, let's work on watercolor pencils. So we're going to do some stamping. We're not going to do any embossing because we can control, absolutely control what we're doing. And I lost a piece of Bristol. No, I didn't. So here's the paper that I use, Bristol Vellum. It could be Bristol Smooth, it could be the watercolor, but I do like the Canson XL. That's not a big enough piece. And I'm just going to cut a piece down. I save all of these scraps. I use them for swatches. If I want to test out a color, whether it's colored pencils, watercolors, collage, anything. So for this card, this is the card that we're going to do. So it's the different cut on a 5x7, because again, you've got to have real estate. You've gotta have the real estate, right? Let me put this one away. So, Biddy, I have not gone back to your video yet to see your haul, but in your honor, I used the picket fence spray in the beginning. I giggled as I was using it, Yes, I did. And I am going to be using scorched timber. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, let's see if there's any questions. Nobody's in the house. Let's see. Yes, Dawn, I agree with that. More watercolor. I've really grabbed and dug into my watercolors lately. Um, I just absolutely love them. Okay, why am I thinking about this so hard? Okay, let's just get that down. All right, and it went crooked. Okay, let's do that. Again, I'm going to stamp in my VersaFine Black. Because that is awesome with watercolors. Oh, sorry, I keep tapping when I'm thinking or reading something. And I'm going to stamp this 3 times. So here's one. Now I should be able to pick this up, put this down here, basically just to flip this around, and it should be, yes, so that's 2, because I always get nervous when I have to pick up my stamp and place it down again. All right, here we go. Let's see if this works. And when you really get nervous and when you think it's not going to work, you can just take a scrap piece, set it down, now, okay, it's stamped. That's cool. You can do something with that, or you can also, okay. Beauty of paper, 2 sides. And we got that. And we're going to actually choose, I need to restamp that. Just remember that if you are using a watercolor paper or if you're using your Bristol, whether it's smooth or uh, vellum, it's textured. So you may have to stamp it a couple times, especially when they're new stamps. You can prime them with either your clear ink, your Versamark ink, your embossing ink, or your hand by rubbing on it, or an eraser. But it's still going to be um, all right. This is just one of my favorite quotes by J.R.R. Tolkien. Actually going to use a sentiment. And we'll just get that stamped. It was funny, in the Zen Again, they actually did a play on that quote, which was awesome. It was just absolutely awesome. And for the life of me, I cannot remember it right now. Nope, totally went out my head. All right. And I think that's all. Well, no, we'll have to do one more stamping trick because we're going to do the border, the collage border one as well. So let's change up our colors just a little bit. But that's the card that we're going to work on. And I'm going to use my watercolor pencils. Any brand will do. These are the ones that I have. And everything just went on that magnet. Too funny. And let's see. Now, when it comes to, I have embossing powder all over the place. Okay, see, Betty, it's not just you. Yeah, it just flies. It just flies. It's like glitter. It goes all over the place. When I work with watercolor pencils, yes, I will use a brush with water sometimes. Um, but I'm constantly putting it down on my paper towel to get rid of the water in there. I don't want a lot of water to go into that. So what I like to use are the clear blending pens. So you can get one from Tombow. It's the N00. These are the glycerin basic pens. The best deal, and they still have the best deal, is by Stampin' Up. You can get 3 of these double ended, so you're getting 6 technically for like $10. And I think they still offer that. I don't think they've gotten rid of these. Yes, Biddy. Versifying for watercolor, Memento for alcohol markers. That, yes. Hey, Teresa, how are you doing? Looking for questions. I'm going to stop typing and lurk. I lurk a lot too. Yeah. I'm always in the background. Um, so I like these because, again, I can control it. And you'll see what I mean. So I know I want a green. So I'm going to choose 2 greens. And I don't know, you know what? I don't want to try the zoom. I should have tried the zoom before. So I don't know if this is going to work. But what may work, wonder if it'll work. Okay, we're going to get creative here. And we know what that means. Something's going to drop. Hang on. All right. Does that look better? That's good? Okay. I didn't want to take a chance of losing y'all. All right, so here I've got 2 greens, and what I'm going to focus on right now are these center little tiny um, cutouts or whatever. Now you can continue to make them part of the petal of what this is. Now these could be leaves, these could be flowers. These Sean in his live after mine last week made these look like a bouquet of roses. It was awesome, absolutely awesome what he did. So what I like to do with my watercolor pencils is get all the color down. Just get all the color down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, and remember, this is not embossed. So I'm going to put my light shade up here, and I'm going to come in with my darker shade just a little bit down here. There's going to be a white spot in between. And that's all I'm going to do for each of these. Just going to put the color up on the top. And medium pressure, you don't have to be perfect with your colors when you're coloring with watercolor pencils. And that's the beauty of them. Just get your color down. And again, medium pressure. I don't like to push too hard. Only because you know what? Your hand starts hurting afterwards, right? Yes. So medium pressure, you can see how far back my hand is. And I'm just letting the paper grab the pigment from the pencil. And I'm just going to put that down there. And I have the wrong glasses on because I can't see a gosh darn thing I'm doing here. You know, and here I thought I was prepared. And then I'm going to come in with just that dark green at the bottom, just adding a little bit, keeping a white spot. I'm not too worried if the whole area is covered, just getting this color down. Now, when I work with a brush and water, the technique is a little different because with the pressure that I'm putting, you might not be able to blend out and you might see the line, and that drives me crazy. But with the blenders, I can move it. I can shift I can shift these colors all around when it comes to these areas. All right, so what color do we want to go with? You know what, maybe I am going to stick with the same colors. So, let's say, for the back petals. So, when I say the back petals, I mean the petal that's to the top of each of these. I'm going to go with these two colors. Again, I'm just going to come in with the lighter color on top, and I'm going to come in with the darker color on the bottom. You can color the whole thing in. I'm choosing not to. That's going to give me a natural highlight when I pull these together. For this one down here, it's all going to be this dark color. Again, we don't worry about light source. We do not worry about it. It's not something that we concern ourselves with. At least I don't. I just, even if if I was never in Zentangle, I just never, it was confusing for me. Again, I love to create, love to just keep seeing, okay, how far can we push paper? But I don't want to think about it. I just want to do it. Right? I'm just saying. So again, just adding these colors. Scribbling, actually. And it is like magic when you get the colors in here. It's like watching embossing powders come to life when you heat them. It's like just, it comes to life. And that's what's perfect with these. Just watch it come to life. And now our last ones. Now this one's upside down. You know what? I'm going to turn this or else I'm going to make a mistake. I'm working with just the light color now. Again, my mind always thinks, okay, how can I mass produce this? What can I get all done first? What can I get all done second? That's okay. We're okay that we got that in there. I do like to make sure that I'm up into the corner. All right, so those are our other two colors. And now I am going to go with a peach. If that makes sense. And these are the next two colors that I'm choosing. And again, it's the same thing. Light color on the top, darker color on the bottom. So yeah, we got to change or choose the same colors. So for this, I'm going to do all my lighter shades. These are easier to see. Now we'll come in with our darker colors underneath, looking to see if there's any questions. Maureen, I believe that's, so she said never knew about glycerin with watercolor. I believe that is the component within these blender pencils. Now, I also got that from watching Lindsay, the frugal crafter. She refilled her blender pencils, and if I'm not mistaken, she used glycerin to do that, and she got the same results. But that's kind of what it is. It's a solvent, and what that solvent's doing is um, it's breaking down the pigment that's in the pencil. Now, again, Tombow, they're watercolor markers. So, but there's something still, I think if you just had a pen filled with water, it's eventually going to dry, evaporate out. It's water. Um, so there's something else in there, and that's what she used. So I'm going to grab one of my blender pencils here. And yeah, the plastic did push that up. I could go to a third. No, I won't go through a third one. Okay, now, alls we're going to do, I'm going to start with this one. In small circular motions, I'm just going to come in. I'm going to start where the pigment is, and I'm going to move up. See how it filled it in? And I always have, I'm going to use this. I always have a scratch piece of paper so that I can clean that tip off when I go to change colors. And once it's clear, I'm ready to go to the next one. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to come over here. I go down into the pigment. And as I keep coming up, it gets lighter and lighter. I'm going to start from the top here, small circles, and I'm going to come into that other color. See? That's the beauty of a blender pen. And yes, for me, it's all about control. It really is. It is all about control. Now, to make this production style, do all your greens first, and then you don't have to clean in between. But you can see that dark color is just coming up, and I'm just going along the line. These blender pens have great points to them. And yes, the points will get dirty, but it doesn't mean it's not clean. When you're swiping it and it's coming out clear, you are good to go. Now I'm going to go in this color here, and I'm going to do all the darker ones. But it just gives it that soft look. And you can see in some cases, yeah, I have too much pigment down, but who cares? You can clean, just like we did with our brush, going onto the paper towel. That's what this is. You can clean it off, and you can still remove some of that color. But I start in the pigment, and then I come down. So you can see those two colors in there. When I move to my next color or my next petal, this one here, I'm fine going back and forth, and then I have them meet in the center. So you get that natural highlight as well. And again, just small little circles, or you can go back and forth like that. But that's breaking down that pigment and make it move. Plus, you don't have to worry about taping your piece down. You don't have to worry about with the water that you're adding, your piece is going to curl. It's like getting, if you're not comfortable with colored pencils, if you don't have that, or you don't think, see, I like to say you don't think you have confidence, but you do. With colored pencils, this is the is a great substitute for you, and you can get that look when it comes to your colored pencils. Waiting for the magic. Maureen, did I show you the magic? Did you see the magic with this magic pen? It is a wonderful pen. And again, for me, it's about control. But I do like to say that this here, this technique here is perfect for someone that loves the look of colored pencils and just isn't ready. Now remember, I did finally launch, it took me forever today, I did finally launch my color pencil class. Um, and it's all about colored pencils for the card maker. That's my focus when it comes to that. But I think this is, and again, to lighten it up just by cleaning off the tip of your blender, you're going to remove some of that pigment so that you can see how much it cleared that off so that you can get the difference in the blend. I don't, well, you could also use this on regular cardstock. Honestly, though, I would not recommend it. I don't think you'll get the same results. Cardstock is very smooth. And these types of pigments, whether they're colored pencils, whether they're watercolors, they really do need the tooth, the texture of the paper to really get going, and to grab a hold of it. And it's for these two elements, colored pencils or watercolors. That's how the pigment gets pulled from the pencil. I also feel that with cardstock, you're taking this, the blender, and you're rubbing it. It's going to pill. It's going to pill up, meaning little tiny pieces or balls of paper. You're going to have that. And you don't want that in your art. You don't want to see that. On watercolor or mixed media, this is good for mixed media paper as well. You're not going to get that because it's made for wet techniques. And now you can see I'm just picking up the pace here at this point. And it just comes to life. And I see that little petal I missed. Right, I got it. When I'm done with the blender pen, I do, where's that spot? There we go. I do make sure it's clean. So you can see as I keep rolling it, and I'm rolling it in my hand this way, it comes out clear. She's clean. Make sure the cap's back on tight, and you're ready for your next project. I even keep these too. I just... All right, so let's move our table. Okay, so see? Watercolor pencils, blender pen. And this will work with any watercolor pencil. You will get the same results with any watercolor, from Crayola watercolor pencils to Arteezas, all the way up to the name brands. You will not get the same results with watercolor pencils if you use a brush and water, and I'm going to be honest with that. All right, you do need the Faber-Castells or the Derwent, or the higher end to get that blend that you're looking for if you're using a brush and water. There's more pigment in those pencils, less binders, so they will blend out more. You're forcing the blend with a blender pencil, so any colored pencil will work. And then, as I said, this will also give you the look of colored pencils, because now you can come in with a darker colored pencil if you want and just add more shading and everything else. But yes, there are the less expensive brands of colored pencils. Some colors will blend out beautifully. And again, it is with the technique. If you're using a brush with water, you want to put a lighter touch with adding your pencil down, and then it'll blend out more. You'll get those blends, and then you'll have to, once it's dry, you'll add another layer to it. So, and it's stuff that we'll definitely get into more in depth into the community that we have, because I'm going to be Gabby in the community, in the each of the levels. All right. Okay. So now we have this. Now we're going to fussy cuts. We're going to focus on this card here, because now that we have these, they dry almost immediately after you're done with that. Good morning, Anthony. Maureen, I agree with you. So she said she had Gamsol with colored pencils, and Gamsol is it's a wonderful solvent, very much so. Um, but I don't know, the whole concept of odorless mineral spirits. The term odorless just freaks me out. Yeah, I'm different. Yes. Um, it really, really does. So I I very rarely, now I'm going to try to talk and fussy cut at the same time. So this should be good. You know, the whole walking while chewing gum. I'm just saying. Um, with colored pencils, you guys have heard me say before, yes, they are my medium of choice. I just love them. I find them relaxing. Um, I very rarely use solvents to get my blends or anything like that. They do provide beautiful blends, but yeah, that whole concept of it being a solvent, it being odorless, I will forget to keep my lids on. I did find a solvent. It's very difficult to find in the States. I actually get it from Jackson's Art, I believe it's called. And it's called Zest It. Smells wonderful. It's like an orange citrusy smell to it. Um, and it's not, as harsh. Um, so it comes in a container with a sponge in it already. So I really like that one. Okay, okay, here we go. Uh-huh. Okay, fussy cut did not cut my hand. It's a good day. So yes, I um, totally agree with you, Maureen. Yeah. All right, so now we have our 4 panels. So now what we're going to do, and what I did with this one, I love holographic mirror cardstock. It's just, I do, I absolutely love it. And I'm going to annoy you with that now. I know I can't find, all right. I am going to use double-sided tape to put these down. And the reason why I use double-sided tape and not glue is because it'll slide all over the place. Let me turn that over. I'm sure that's annoying. It'll just slide all over the place. With double-sided tape, it grabs immediately and it doesn't slide. Yes, these are my little quirks. They're just all coming out today. Yes, they are. So I just choose two sides. And then I'll use the glue in the center. Oh, what is that? Get out of there. There we go. All right, where's my glue? Now, I'm not going to measure. I know that drives people crazy, but I hate measuring. I just... At least with focal points and when I'm creating a mat. So what I'm going to do, sorry for the scratching, I'm going to take these and I'm going to, and wow, they literally fit perfectly. Oh, that's too funny. Who knew? This was a scrap. I kid you not, I did not cut this. So we're going to put it in the center. And then we're going to line this one up over here. Trying to keep the same distance. So the glue is just going to cement it together, but the double-sided tape just holds it there immediately. And then I'm just going to cut down each side with the same approximate same amount of distance. I know I'm making you all crazy. You can measure these and cut them out exactly, but again, for me, that takes time, and I can't. Again, we're here to have fun and create. So now we have our 3 panels. I did already take care, so here's a 5x7 card base, all right, 5x7. You can take an 8.5, cut it by 10 by 7, score along the 10-inch side at 5. There's your base. And for the top part, I cut half of 5 is 2.5. So I cut 2.5 inches off of the top flap. All right, and that's how we get our funky looking flap. Now, you could just leave this plain, and we're going to definitely place one here. And then the other one's going to go in this corner after we get our mats. And then this one here is going to come off of that. So this is the one that's going to overhang on our piece. And that's all I did with that. I'm going to grab some black cardstock scraps because I do want these matted on black, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to put glue on the back. I'm going to put them down with the border. Just eyeballing it. And I doubt, will it? Will it? Nope. Yes, I'm digging into my scraps. Yeah. And the beauty of liquid glue is we got that wiggle room. And we're going to do the same thing. And that is always how I create my mats when it comes to a focal point. I think long shears are best for this because you could usually get it in one cut. If you use a smaller set of scissors, you're constantly cutting up and down, which will create waves. I like that color. That's one of my scraps. So I know that this piece here measures 7 by 2.5. So I want a very thin border on it. So we're going to cut this 2 3/8. And if this is the only size of a paper trimmer that you have, yes, you can take this, line it up, grab a pencil, and make your mark. I want to make a cut right there. And I'm going to trim it right there. And we're going to get this in place. And things are going to roll across my table. And we're going to get our first one in the corner. And I like to set this one first. And we're going to get this one in place. And I'm taking it right up to the edge of the mat, so you're not seeing the mat on this side, because that's kind of the distance that I have on this one. And then this one here, I'm just going to put a squiggle. Yep, technical term. And I'm going to place that right there. And again, lining along the edge of the mat. And then making sure I don't have glue on the other side. Yep, made one and it was completely glued down. Yes. And there you go. That is our first card. So it's kind of different looking, kind of very geometric, mosaic, boom, comes up. For our sentiment, I'm going to come in with my scissors. And I am going to put that on a piece of black scrap. Making sure there's no questions. And Anthony, the Prisma Blender pencil is the colorless pencil. It's just awesome. Um, it's just a wonderful thing when it comes to. Now they do also make a blender pen for colored pencils. Did you all know that? Uh-huh. Yeah. Can you tell I shop way too much? Yeah. Yes. So we can take this and we're going to prop that up. And I'm going to put a mark here for my spring. There we go. Because you all know, love, love, love dimension. I know it adds postage. I know. But I just love it. And we're going to take that right there. We're actually centering it on the card. I know. Amazing. Miracles are possible. But you all know I don't do that. So now when we open it, boom. To me, this is unique. It's different. It's, you know, it's not your typical card. Just saying. So our first card is done. Woohoo! And it's only, well, all right. So these are the two differences. Again, different color scheme can give you a completely different look. Can you turn this into a holiday card? Absolutely. Why not? Make that gold, that center strip here gold. Make these red. Make this one green. Use green and red or whatever color cardstock you use. You can make these look frosted by using blues and adding some frosted glitter. Again, you can take anything and make it anything that you want. Again, it's all about having fun. All right, so that's that set. All right, I'm going to check in on Sala. Good morning. Yes, Dawn, I believe, yeah, she uses, it smells wonderful. And it's not a harsh solvent. It's just cannot find it in the States. And when I found it in Jackson's art, I squealed with excitement. Yes, there was a lot of excitement going on. Lots, just lots. All right, let's do our stamping for our collage card. So this is the one that we're going to make. All right. And I do need, nope, I don't need that. And in honor of Biddy and the celebration, we're going to use Scorched Timber Glaze embossing powder. Yes. Biddy, did you know they made the embossing powder? Just saying. Hopefully you don't have to go make another purchase. I'm just... For this one, I'm going to use a Tangled Maze. This is my favorite out of this collection. This, how am I tearing these? Okay. This, see, I use them so much. They're just, how am I doing this? Okay, what's going on here? You should be coming off this way. There's just so much that can be done with this stamp set. All right, we're going to stamp this 4 times. Okay, you think she bought it, Dawn? Okay. Again, I haven't seen it yet. Now, one of the things that I do love about these embossing powders is they are translucent. I'm grabbing hang on. So I found when I was cleaning lots of clear projector sheets, yes, you'll see what I use them for now. Okay. I love the fact that they are clear. All right, we're going to pick this up. I am going to use my clear ink. I have to stretch, pardon my stretch. And we are going to stamp these 4 times. I know I said that before, but just want to be clear, 4 times. And I need a blank piece of paper, scratch paper. One that's not torn in half. And I do like to stamp these a couple times, just to make sure that I'm getting an impression. Now, do you have to use this embossing powder? Absolutely not. You can use any embossing powder that you have. I am now going to take this sheet, put that down so that I can place this down. I'm going to pick this up now. So now I'm not getting the clear ink everywhere. I need to remember though my clear ink's on this side. So I put it to the side that way. And that's what I use those sheets for. I can get multiple uses from them. I also do put them in my journals. They're just fun. I have no idea where I got them from. I just found them. I was excited. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to take this. We're going to put that down. And you want to move, again, a little quick. This is clear ink. It is a sticky ink. But I will tell you, it does dry. And it dries not slow. So we're just going to keep moving along here. Now, what also happens too, no matter how well you clean your stamps, you will always have residual of especially VersaFine black. When you use your clear ink, yep, it picks it up. You can tell this is well loved. This pad is only used for when I've already used a VersaFine on it, because it actually will help clean your stamp. I just say. That's why some of them look lighter, some of them look darker, because it's actually picking up the residual ink that I've got going on here. And it does, it cleans. So, multiple uses for your clear ink. Just saying. Just saying. And we'll get that up there as well. Now let's get our scorched timber on here. I don't like to tap too hard on my pieces, just a light tap, because you kind of lose all the powder. I mean, you see people go I like the magic. I like to see the magic. All right, obnoxious sound alert. So if you want to turn your volume down, please do. We're going to heat set these. There we go. That will be the last time, fingers crossed, that you will hear that obnoxious sound. Good morning, Delia B. How are you? Oh, no, that's creative, Sala. She said if you look at the pattern upside down, it almost looks like a Christmas tree. Yes. Yes. See? Outside the box. Hello, Gloria. I missed you. I'm sorry. I'm doing very well. Yes. Thank you for asking. And if everyone, so earlier I was talking about this conference that I was in, if everyone would like to see some of the projects we worked on, let me know in the comments and I'll pull it out. There's one that's not finished yet. All right, so now what we have to do, yep, we got a fussy cut. But these are easy. Of course we would. Okay. Let me get my big scissors out first. I can make them small. And I have a scrap to save. So what we're going to do, we're going to fussy cut these out. And then we're going to, now on my other one I added white chalk. You could use a colored pencil. You could omit that. Out of the entire collection, I think this is the worst one to cut out. Fussy cutting. But I had to do Huggins. I had to do Huggins. And that's what this tangle is called. It is called Huggins. And it's one of my favorites. Absolutely one of my favorites. And you can see I'm moving the paper, not my scissors. Scissors don't move. And now we get to do the other side. I should have done this before we went live. Oh my goodness. Okay, so for those of you that just came here, I had made an announcement in the beginning. If you see, you should have gotten notified, if you hit the notification bell, that there's a post that I put in the community. And at the very end of this live, I'm going to go through what it's all about. So if you're not here, it's okay. You can watch the replay. So you're not going to miss anything, because that would be rude. One down. Let's get that scrap out of the way. So make sure if you have to leave, come back. I did not put the instructions in the community posts, except for the fact that you have to put comment there. But again, let's just wait. And if somebody's here on the replay, welcome. You can go to the end if you want. You can tell I am just not, and plus I'm going really fast with this fussy cutting. Burp. And a lot of this is going to be covered up too, because yeah, we're gonna come in with some vintage photo, we're gonna come in with some scorched timber, we're gonna have all that fun that's going to come onto these. So your fussy cutting doesn't have to be perfect, because the ink is going to cover it up. Especially the scorched timber. It's a beautiful dark brown. But I think this time I'm not going to add the white chalk. Again, we're going to do something just a little bit different. I know I'm getting quiet here because I'm focusing because I'm trying to speed up. Because who wants to watch somebody fussy cutting? I'm just saying. You know, it's like watching paint dry. But that's okay. One last one. So the community post, what I'm talking about is if you go to my channel, the, like the main part, you click my face, push on my face, and that takes you to my channel page. And then along the top, you'll see videos, playlists, live. There should be either it says posts or it used to say community. I think they changed it to posts. And if you look there, I do post there every once in a while some special announcements or polls or just to say hi. But there's something that I did just put up in there, and it just says choose your favorite bundle. But you haven't seen the bundles yet. So, um, that's something that you'll go to afterwards after you hear this. So, yeah, I got to put a little bit of frustration and, make it more difficult because, that's who I am. Um, and I did that. You'll know the reason. I did do it for a specific reason, which will all come to light soon. Oh, and I forgot to say, so you saw that I label my water bottle. In the beginning, I labeled my water bottle, and I said why I did that. So I've got two bottles like that. One has water in it, one has alcohol in it. Now, usually, when I use my watercolors in the palette, I gotta clean my table off a little bit here, I spritz them with water, just to wake them up. Well, I happened to be on a call with Anthony. I spritzed my watercolors with rubbing alcohol. Yeah. Yes, I almost cried because I thought I destroyed them. But I didn't. I did not. They were the ones that I actually used today. I just used a corner. No, it was a set that I had been dying to get. And I just took a paper towel and just lightly sopped up the puddles. And it worked. They are fine. They are absolutely fine. So, yeah. If you label things, you need to make sure that you read them. Just saying. Yeah. So for each of our no, when I say, Dawn, that I sprayed my watercolors with alcohol, I meant I sprayed the palette with alcohol, rubbing alcohol, not a panel. It's an awesome technique. Agree. When you spritz it with alcohol, yeah. Nope. I sprayed my palette. Yeah. Not such a good effect. All right, so we're going to go in with our vintage photo first, and we're going to bring that really in on to the side. We're not just going to stay on the edge. We're really going to come up along the side almost to change the color of the cardstock. So yeah, you do not want to activate your watercolor palette with alcohol. Yeah. Anthony heard me scream, and I don't think he needed to have the volume up. I think he probably heard me outside. Yeah. So, read the labels. And then we are going to go down the sides of these with our scorched timber. So we're going to get this braided effect just with our inks. So again, now we're just going to come down the sides lightly because this is a very dark ink. And I love it. I've been throwing a lot of things today. It just adds that extra oomph to vintage photo. Vintage photo is still my favorite. Vintage photo will always be my go-to. Now, for each of these, I love metal findings. I love adding metal to collage, to something that looks vintage. So for the 4 here, I'm going to just poke down the center with my pokey tool. And we're going to add a brad. Now, you could add a gem, you could add a pearl, a sequin instead. For some reason, though, when I do vintage, I gotta add metal. Gotta have the metal. And now we just put one of these in here. And we'll trim these down once we have our panel created. Okay, I can't see. There we go. Because I don't remember, you want to make sure that these are on the edge. So this was done on a 6x6 card. A 6x6 card base. Again, it's all about the real estate. And the panel that we're going to be working on is 5.5 by 5.5. So see, I do some measuring. Not all the time, though. And these are going to go off the edge. And we are going to splatter. I don't know why I'm having trouble with these. Okay. So now I just make sure that the flat edge is going along the long side so that nothing peeks out. And I'm pulling the long side down first, then the short. And then I lay it flat. I grab something with a top, I go over the brad, and I push down to flatten it out. And now the back is flat. And we'll do that to each one of these now. Let's see if there's any questions. Dawn, you'll like the scorched timber. Did they run away? No, it was. Oh, it was very bad. Scorched timber. It's a beautiful color. It's a beautiful shade of brown. It doesn't look brown. It looks black, but it's got this beautiful brown undertone to it, and it just adds to the edge. It just accents sometimes when I use um, the vintage photo. Okay, so here's my panel. I have ink all over my fingers. Let me clean that off first. Okay. Oh my goodness. All right. And I just pulled some pieces just to have fun with, just to collage. And we're just going to layer. Remember, when you collage, excuse me, you can have a theme. You don't need a color theme, though. Because, again, that's the whole concept of collage. Just have fun with it. I do like to tear my pieces. This I will add vintage photo to the ends of these where I tear. I'm not worried about the outer edge because I'll go around. Nah, that's the wrong one. I will go around the whole edge just in case something is seen. And yes, I am using my vintage photo. Now this one here, I don't go to the edge when I add my glue. Now this piece is very bright. It's got that a white look to it. And if you want to tone it back, I have this old makeup brush. And I just go back and forth with a little, and now she's toned back. Again, it just adds that little bit. And I'm just having fun with the pieces. Using up those scraps that I tore off. So that I don't have any extras. Just saying. Oh, that's funny. I had two. Okay. Too funny. All right. Now we'll just do that. Okay. Now I want... These are the botanicals. Now I'm just going to pull out some... That's the one I already used. No, it's too small. Oh. I like that one. Oh, what's that one? No, too skinny. Yes, these are the things that I say to myself. Now, you know what? I think I am going to go with this one because it's brighter. Just going to get into those nooks and crannies the best way that I can. We do a little bit of yoga. And then I just make sure that the white is gone so that when I place that down, it stands up. If I didn't put the ink around it, she would get lost. And I'm going to put her there. I'm trying to think. Nope, that's where she's going. Once we commit, right? Right. Okay, so now we have that. I am going to go around the edge, because in case any of that is seen coming from underneath our frame that we're going to create. And now what we do is we pop this up. I did use foam squares. And on two of them, I went right across. And then on the other two, I only went in the center. Where's that small one? I can finish these up. I left the outer ones open. Okay. So, what I did to create this is I took these. I didn't cut the ends off yet. And what I did was I lined these up. And I have a mat here. So this is going to go on our card base. This is cut 5 7/8 by 5 7/8. And I'll put that on there so that you can see what I'm doing. So I took this piece with the 3 and I went and said, okay, I want to go along that edge. So I lined it up along the edge. That was my guide. This here is going to go in the center. And again, we're just eyeballing this. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're just using areas as a guide. So now I've got that down. So now we're going to take our first one and we're going to line it up. And again, we're just eyeballing. So boop. And then I'm going to take the other one with 3 and I'm going to do that to the bottom. And yes, I'm getting up on my tippy toes. And boop, and we're pushing it down. So now these are in place. So now I'm going to turn this and we're going to get these in place. But I want even these pieces to somewhat weave. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So I want to take this one under. And again, I'm lining up along that black edge. We're going to center it just a little bit. or as best as we can. We're going to push that down. I'm going to come in with my scissors. And we're going to cut. And I'm going to come in underneath and we're going to cut that one out. We're going to do the same thing here. So I didn't push this side down yet. So I can lift that up. I can cut. I can push down. And I can cut. And I'm okay that it's going on an angle because we're going to do that on the edge. So now I'm going to turn again. We're going to remove the release paper. So there's always a method to my madness. And you guys are just getting a glimpse of what that madness is. So this one was up. I want this one up. So the next one's going up. I'm pushing that into the center, pushing it down, and then this one's going to be up. So I'm going to lift, this one's going to be down. So I'm going to push that down in there. I'm going to cut. I'm going to cut. I'm going to lift this one up, cut, and cut. Ink those edges. And the ones we cut underneath are hidden. So I don't have to worry about inking those. And then I'm just going to put glue and I'm going to hold it down. I do bring in, because we have that embossed section, I'm going to bring in my tweezers because they just hold everything in place beautifully. Just saying. And I am putting a good glob of glue down. If bang seeps up, I can just clean it up. This one I don't have to worry about because I got that, so I'm going down below. And again, just having the pressure of them, just need it for a second. And then by the time you come over here, everything is already held. Yes, I keep these. And boom. All right, so that is our collaged piece. Now, you know, Friday night, we got a few snow showers. Yes, we did. They were light, they were gone, couldn't even tell. Rain took over. But we did. So snow is in the forecast. So we're going to have a little blizzard. We're going to pull that in. You can use any white you want. I'm using, it's Arteza acrylic colors. This is in titanium white. Because again, I want to use up what I have. I am on a mission, a very big mission. Going to add water to this, lots of it. You want to have, to get your splatters so that really they don't go all over the place, you do want to have a good amount of water. Now, yes, I'm using my watercolor water. It's okay. And I'm using a fan brush that can help, but I do like to use a regular brush. And we are just going to drop our splatters because for some reason I just believe and feel that vintage needs a little splatter. Just a little bit. And there is our piece. And yes, I did that on the black cardstock as well, to get the splatters out on that as well. I'm going to set this aside so that this can dry. And let's look at to see how our panel is doing that was in here. That was not me. So here we go. That's our panel. I am and you can see as you add more water, the splatter's really good. I don't have a crime scene going on here. All right. So we added that because we have one more card. Is everybody hanging in there? Because I think now what I'm going to do is talk about what I did over in my community post. Now again, that community post, if you go to my YouTube channel, like the first time where you see videos, playlists, live, it's my home page for my channel. You'll see either community or post. And in there, I just put a post that says, choose your favorite. So what that is, and what I'm doing, and I'm going to apologize first, because I know I'm going to make somebody upset, and I'm going to get a nasty comment, so I'm just going to apologize. Unfortunately, this is only open to the United States. Okay? Yes, so everyone can be upset with me. All right, but it is. It's only open to the U.S., and what I've done is I've created 3 bundles. I have taken 2 of my stamp sets and created 3 bundles. Now, what that bundle is, I've gone back into past collections and chose 2 stamps. This here is bundle number 2. So they each have a number. So this here is bundle number 2. Yes, because I can't start out with bundle number 1, right? Exactly. So in bundle number 2, this is a tangled mandala, and this here is a tangled botanico. All right, so you have this beautiful botanical, these sentiments, be happy, smile with sympathy. And then this one here is happy everything, let's celebrate, happy birthday, just breathe, it's your day, happy everything and celebrate, happy birthday and celebrate. So again, we can have fun with the words. And what you're also going to get, so the thank you card I chose for this one is one that I made in a live a couple weeks ago. That's bundle number 2. Bundle number 2. Here is the next bundle. This is bundle number 3. Yep, because can't go to number 1 yet. So bundle number 3 has tangled snowflakes and a tangled heart. So kind of going with the theme, holidays, love. So we have these 2 stamp sets. And then the card, again, is one of my cards that I made in a live a couple weeks ago, because these are my thank you cards now. Yes. And did everyone recognize that? And the rose? Yeah. Bitty penny cardstock. Just saying. Hello, focal points. So this here is bundle number 3. And then finally, we'll get to bundle number 1. So in bundle number 1, we have a tangled moment and we have a tangled star. Now, if you remember with this one, you can put a brad to it, you can change it around, you can create a background. And again, I encourage you to go back through the videos to see just how we did that. I had a video up on that. And yes, this is bundle number 1. And with this bundle, you will receive this thank you card with a tangled maze, because I just love that stamp set. So what are these bundles that I have put together? I am giving away these 3 bundles. And I'll even put them in order now. All right. So what you need to do to receive one of these bundles is you're going to go back to my homepage onto the community. Again, it either is titled community or it's titled posts. You want to click on that and you will see the recent post that I did that says choose your favorite. Underneath that post, you want to leave a comment telling us which one was your favorite. Did you like bundle number 1? Did you like bundle number 2? Did you like bundle number 3? Did you want to say, I like them all, I can't choose? Whatever it is, but you have to leave a comment down there and just identify which one is your favorite. On the 20th, so you have a week. So those in the replay, you still have time if you're still within the week. On April 21st or April 20th, no, I'm going to go with April 21st. That evening, I'm going to comment on someone's post. Now, what I'm going to be doing is printing down all of those comments, putting them all in bundle 1, 2, and 3 groups, or if you chose all 3, you're going to go in each pile, and I'm going to choose one, like out of a hat. If I reply to your comment, that means you are the winner of this bundle. Yep, I can't make it easy. I want to make it fun and annoying. Yes, absolutely. I will reach out to you through that comment. You will then need to email me, all right? And my email is in my About section on my YouTube channel, all right? You will email me, and you will have to provide me, of course, your full name, your mailing address, and I will mail this bundle. Whichever one you win, I will mail that bundle out to you. Why am I doing it this way? Because there's too many scammers out there. And I get it. There's other ways that I'm sure that I could do this or anything else. But as long as I don't tag anything on the post or tag anything in the video, then I can try to avoid that. By me just commenting back on your post and hearting everyone else, then they're really not going to clue into that as well. Just make sure it's me, okay? Because I'm sure they're going to find a way to do this. But I will say, you got it. Congratulations. I'm going to write that down. And then that is for you to know I need to contact her. My email address is include a thank you, all one word, at Gmail. All right? So that is what we're doing. I do apologize. I do apologize that this is not opened to anyone outside the United States. But I don't want anyone internationally to feel left out, because there is something coming for my community that's international. I'm still working on it though. So please be patient. And there will one day be a post somewhat like this, but just for international. So, yes, people in the States can be a little annoyed as well. So, please stay tuned for that. I'm currently working on it and hoping to finalize shortly, but I can't define shortly. All right? So, any questions that we've got here so far? All right. Let's see. Let's see. And Biddy, you're right. It is, we do get to engage, but that is a way that I do communicate with my community on YouTube. All right. Now, for my community in Podia, okay, we'll call it Podia, but my paper manipulators, you will have the same access as well. So I will create a post there, and they too will have to go to the same spot. They will have to go back to the YouTube post. I'm not going to post this in multiple locations. The YouTube community post to go there. Now, what I'm hoping is once this live is done, I'll be able to link to that post below in the description. So if you give it a few minutes, you'll do that. Commenting here on this live will not enter you into these giveaways. Okay? Because I don't make my comments live. They are afterwards, but you all communicating now, that doesn't show. I don't hold on to them and put them once you're watching the replay. They are all lost. All right? So just keep that in mind. And I also don't monetize my lives either. It's confusing and it's more buttons and I don't want to click them. So yep, that's why I do that. Okay? So bundle 1, bundle 2, and bundle 3. All right? That's all we have to do. I will then also update the community post as well with the instructions. Okay? But you've got to know that that's what I'm going to come back with. Something like this. You got it. Congratulations. If that is not the post that you have, just please also make sure it's me. My channel is include a thank you with a black and white picture of me. I'm never going to ask you for money. I'm never going to ask you for information over these airways or over the community posts or over my comments. I will do that secretly. If you receive an email from include a thank you at Gmail, make sure it is include a thank you at Gmail and nothing else. No numbers, no Yahoo, no nothing. This is what they're doing. All right? So I'm hoping nothing goes wrong with this because I don't want anyone scammed. That just freaks me out that people would absolutely do this. But just know there is nothing you will pay for these. All right? So that was the announcement. Okay? So I hope you enjoy that. But again, my international, hang in there. Hang in there, my people. Please, please, please. All right. Do you want to hang on for the last card? We're going to do the easel card because the white splatters are dry. And if they're not, that's okay. Let's check in on our collage. Yep, we can get this down onto our card base. So let's just turn this over. Let's add our glue. Let's clean off the top of our glue bottle because I didn't do that before. And let's get this down on our card base. Let's open our card to make sure. Yes. And again, we're just going to have a very thin border on this one. Very thin. Very, very thin. See, and this is why we use liquid glue. I like to wiggle my card, get it moving. There we go. So that is our collage card. Yay. Love it. Love the frames that you can create with those. Absolutely. Too much fun. Way too much fun. Let's work now on our easel. And we're going to do this one just a little bit different. All right. We still got a 7x7 card base. And what we're going to do with the card front is, since this is 7x7, I want to score it at 3.5. Ave, I did not do the Christmas one, but we are going to see the Christmas one. That's going to be a video shown on the 25th of April. I was looking to do something for the holidays. You know, holidays, you know, Christmas is all year. So that's the one that I'm going to do there. When is the 25th? It's Tuesday. I could go live Tuesday night. I don't know. I'll have to think about that. All right, 3.5. We're going 3.5. Slowly we come down. This is thick cardstock. I miss these card bases. Love these card bases by Tonic. And I think they discontinued them, and I think I bought them out of them. All right. So, we're going to bend. We're going to bend it. We're going to make sure it's straight. Yep. Yep. All righty. That's all you have to do to your card base. Make your regular size card, whatever it is, whether it's a standard A2, a 5.5, a 6, 6, 7, 7, whatever size, 5x7, whatever it is. You're just going to score it halfway through your piece. All right, because that's the mechanism now that we're going to work off of. Here is our panel. And what I am going to do is we're going to do something just a little bit different than what we did before. So let me grab... I'm going to take a piece of black cardstock, and I am going to cut this down. So if that's 3.5, we're going to cut this 3.5. We're going to cut this 2 7/8, or 3 3/8. And then, since this is 8.5, I'm not going to get out my other cutter. I'm going to line this up, and I'm going to place a mark at 6 7/8. So now this piece is going to nestle itself right here, but be up at the fold line. This piece, why am I putting my cutter away? Okay. So this is 5.5, yeah. And we are going to cut this at 5.5 as well. And I want, I'm going to hold that piece. I'm thinking again. I'm thinking. Still thinking. Yeah, I'm still thinking. All right, so this is brushed, and I want to cut, is that, yes. I want to cut this. Please tell me this is a straight edge. It's a scrap. Five and 3/4. I'm going to go past that just a little bit. 5 3/4. So now this panel is going to go up on that. And again, I'm just laying this all out. I'm thinking. I'm still thinking. Okay. I think I know what I want to do. I don't know though. I know. I make you all crazy. Oh yeah, I'm liking that. So again, we're going to cut another piece at 3 1/2 to, nope, we're going to cut this one at 3. And that is 6 7/8, and I think I'm going to cut this one at 6. So see why, I mean, you got to think, and it just doesn't work. Again, we're going to have, hey, this worked. Hey, look at that. See, miracles can happen. All right. So, what I'm going to do is I want to get these pieces down. So for these, I'm going to use my liquid glue. Sorry for the scratchy sounds. And again, I'm going to base this off of the bottom and making sure that it's lined up with the fold. All right. And then we're going to do the same thing with this one. So again, when you're looking at your measurements, I always go with measurements, you know, 1/4 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch, and that. So I'm going to line this up again with that. And you can see I've got this 1/2 inch border that's going around. This I'm going to use my double-sided tape on because you can see it's very, very wonky. Very wonky. But not as wonky when you let it dry naturally. But she's got a wonk to her. And this is going to flatten the piece out. So I'm going to, so that I don't forget what I'm doing here, I'm going to get this attached to my mirrored cardstock there that's probably driving you all crazy. Sorry about that. First. And then we've got to connect this a certain way to our base panel there. So I'm going to take this, I'm just going to fold it up on itself. See how strong that tape is? That's an awesome tape. I really do recommend it. Uline. It leaves fingerprints. All right. So now I'm going to get this down. I'm going to push down with my fingers. I'm up on my tippy toes because once this touches, she is down for the count. And you can see, panel's flat. That's what I love about that tape. It just, boom, it's like magic. So now here, I am going to turn this over. Again, we don't need fancy tools. Again, we just need to make sure that we know, I'm going to use this right now, that we know where our glue and our tape needs to stop. So I'm going to put a line on the back. And now I'm going to put my double-sided tape here because that's where a lot of the strength needs to sit. I'm going to double check what I did. Yes, it's here. So that means I chose that to be, I want that to be the bottom. Is that? Okay, we can do this. We're just going to do it right there. And then I'm just going to put little strips. And now we're going to get this onto that. We need this in place. We can't work on this off the card base because I've got to know where the card is sitting, if that makes sense. Okay, so now we're going to take this and we're going to line this up in the center of that, and we're going to place down. So now our card base is all together. So now when somebody picks this up, that's what they get. All right, it's different. Again, remember, I'm all about being different, right? Okay. You have all grown to deal with that. I know. So now that I have this set up, we must fussy cut. Anybody got that question going on here? Before 420 on Easter here in the U.S., if that helps to remember. I do want to leave a little bit of a white space. Okay, these are not the scissors I want for this. I know, I have multiple scissors. I'm sorry. These just have a smoother edge to them. And I can't find my awesome scissors that I bought recently. They're somewhere. I want to leave a little bit of a white edge because, again, you can see that's going to help them to come off of the panel that we've got here. Two more. All right, got those. And now I'm not pushing all that to the floor, even though that's probably something that I would have done. And now we're going to real quick cut these out. All right, maybe not so quick because they're circles and I need to take my time. But the beauty of this stamp collection is it doesn't take forever to fussy cut, except for that one border, the Huggins border. Something else too that I'm going to do into the Podia community um, is there's going to be some tangle videos, just single tangles, just talking through how you do this tangle. They're going to go into the free, so you guys will actually get to see tangles and practice them if you want. So those videos are going to slowly go in. And then when it comes to the paid level for the community, you will be able to download what is called a step out. And a step out is a paper form of the strokes that will be available to you. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so this we're going to put there, and I'm going to put that there. And I think we're going to put that, you know what, I don't think that one's going to go there. So now you get to see full force my brain and what that's going to do. We're going to put that there. It's going to come down. And that's going to come up. So that's, oh, odd number. See? That's why we got rid of that one. All right. So now I'm going to lift these gingerly up. And what I'm going to do is now I'm going to put my glue down. And we're just going to make sure that we're not going to go off that panel. These down here, it doesn't matter if we go off the panel. Because they're below the line. This one here, we need to make sure that we stay within the line because it's going off the panel. So now what I'll do is I'll lift this up, bend it, flatten this out, and then just push down to make sure. And make sure there's no glue. This one, yep, we're going to prop her up because we can. And I just, where'd they go? Where did they go? That's not them. There we go. Okay. I need to make sure I have the same height going on. Yep, just did that. All right, so now we have that. Now we've got to create the mechanism that's going to stop this. So I want to use this. I just need it straight. Did I cut that straight? Okay, I did. Just a second. So first, we're going to follow the same colorway that we have on our front. I just need to find another piece of the brushed silver. It's not that. Y'all should see my floor right about now. Absolutely hysterical. And because, again, that's wrong scissors I used on that. We're going to give this one just a little bit wider of a border. And then, oh, I'm going to cut that one down. So here, oh, look at that. I put it all flat. I'm using the guide for the, on this cutter here. And I'm just straightening out the boo-boo that was obvious in my brain. There are times where, yes, we can let it go. Absolutely. And you want to do that. You want to get to that point. But then there are also times where, no, there's something that happens where, you know what, that's not really going to work for me. So you can make the correction. This is going to have another thin one. And then we're going to have another thin one. Now this one I'm actually going to measure, all right? And the reason why, so this is 3 1/4. So I want to go 3 1/2. So I'm going to cut 2 at 3 1/2. And it's 6. You want to make sure when you're creating your easel, the mechanism to have it be the stopper, you want to make sure that that's up just a little bit. With the first one that I did, it will stay up, but it doesn't connect on until it gets to the next layer of mats. By simply doubling up your cardstock for the first mat, if that's what you have, that will help create that stopper even more. So that's going to go right down here. And we're going to center that. So that's going to go there. We're going to get our sentiment in there. You can see I'm sticking with the same colors, and mainly because, to be honest, they're all right here. Hopefully this won't wiggle around too much. And we'll grab a hold. But you can get a different look just by simply changing the lineup. And I love matting only because it makes it look like a placard. So we can put that there. You don't want too much dimension underneath. So you don't want to add any foam squares or anything like that. Let me get this stuff out of the way. So, have this. This was our first one, original one. And again, it's an easel, but it's taking up the whole front. And it sits like that. So that when we tilt it back so that you can see it, it actually catches on to the white, which is fine because it creates the same border. And then again, you can put your sentiment there. This one here, we just did it a little differently. If I lift this up, we now have cutouts. It's a cutout piece. It kind of looks different. It's on a wonky side. Still got that blue background, but look at all the awesome colors that we added to it. And then when we open it, because we did the double layer, now we've got that holding on, and we've got these little blocks going up into the big blocks. And that's what that looks like as it falls backwards. We put a lot of time in our cards, in our art, in our paper craft. I believe these should be items that people want to hang on their wall, put on their mantle, put on a shelf, put on their desk, and constantly admire. Because they should. They absolutely should. I don't think people truly understand what we absolutely do and enjoy for that. All right, so those are the 3 cards. So we did this to that. Just get, I'm going to push everything off to the side here, except my water. We're going to get that off the table. Too many things get lost. We have our collage. So that was the sample shown last week. And here's our recreation. Just a little bit different. And then here's the one again shown last week. And then here's the one that we made together. I actually added a sentiment. Woohoo! All right, so those are the 3 recreations. And I'll have more videos coming out with the cards. What I will be showing on the 25th is the one Ave was talking about. You can turn anything into a Christmas card. These are the portals, and we made them into ornaments. And I'm going to show you how we do that. That's going to be out on the 25th. If I go live, I'll put a post in my YouTube community post to let you all know. But I think this is just going to be, it's going to be a live recording. So that's when you will see that one. I think it's great that we can take just regular images and turn them into Christmas or the holidays, whatever it is you would want to see. The last thing, somebody expressed that they would like to see the Zen Again 2025 conference that I was at, and just some of the things that we created there. And I can, if you want to see it, because you guys will be seeing that through the Podia community as well. That's going to be coming out when it comes to that. So, let me grab my book. So what's great with the Zen Again, that's what our conferences are called. I can't show that part. Okay, that I can show. Is you learn new things. You learn all kinds of new tangles that come out, new techniques, and so forth. So they kind of did a play of going back and change. It was all about change. It was about revolution. It was about, that was the theme of this Zen Again. And they do them like once either every other year or every 3 years. And I get it. The work that goes into putting this together is amazing. So to take a tangle and change it, so this is actually Bronx Cheer, which was very different. So now we've turned it into this. We've turned Muka with flux going around it. This is an older version going back to the beginning of Vertigo. So, and then when you put them together, when they create the mosaic, when you're there live, another circle would sit here. So then you'd get this whole string of all of these just sitting around and covering up that area. So that's the whole concept of this. This is a variation of Crescent Moon that we did. This this technique is, oh my god, this technique. This was actually shown by our CZT instructors in Europe. It's a group that people over in Europe, in certain, not too many, but there's like 3 different locations where they have been certified by Zentangle to certify Zentangle instructors. So like the founders. And this is one of their technique. I am not going to give this technique away because this is something that is going to be appearing in the Podia, one of the Podia communities. But cool. Black cardstock. This here was a tea dyed one. I almost laughed because this was tea dyed. But here we made it into a wood fragment, like you would if you would cut a tree down, and the rings in the tree. But we added tangles in it. So this was a really cool concept to just add these jot out tangles and then have them look like they're coming up from underneath the tea rings, and all of that. So special technique on that. This is a new tangle. This is Origin, and it's on a new tile surface. So this was cool. Yeah, these are cool. So new tangle on that one, Origin. Very cool. This here is a new tangle. This is called Numus Wreath. Now, the other one, the original one, again, it's all about change when it comes to this concept. So this is Origin, but this is based off of Aura-een, that task. This here comes from Noom Repus. And if you spell it backwards, it's supermoon. Yeah. But here we now learned how to do it in a wreath with muka pushed into the back. This was fun. This was taught by our French. They're from Paris and Spain. So they actually use the back of a phi tile. And then these just lay there. But what I did was I added 2 brads because, yeah. And then when you swing them out, you've got more tangles underneath. So it creates that whole look. And again, all of these tangles were original tangles, but they changed them some way. This is half of eek. Yes, eek. I always have to do that. So that's what we learned in that one. This is Quib, so a fun tangle there. Here's more of Noom Wreath. That was my take on it. This one is that's it. Hardy Y4. So this is a variation of Y4, that tangle right in there. So it make it look like a heart now. And then here's the new tangle Kofia. Oh yes, we will be seeing Kofia. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Love the Kofia. And then this is a new one as well. Now this one I can't pronounce. So one of the sayings in Zentangle is, and I forget the beginning, it's like all in one stroke at a time. Well, if you take the first letter of each of those words in that phrase, that's the name of that tangle. I can't pronounce it. Yep, they get creative. And then these are just a variation of what they're calling nomads. So we'll see more of that. And nomads just roam free on the tile. They just roam. But they have cements ending with a Z. Get it? Cement ending with a Z. Okay. So that you can create. Now, this isn't done yet, but they just float and they just latch on to each other. And there's the cements there, these little triangles that just groups it all together. It's all solid. And like this is a space in here, so a little piece of cement will go there. You got your cement there, but they just roam. They just roam around. Um, and this one here is called Mystical. That's the start of nomads and that concept. So that which one? Okay, which one is the next stamp? Oh my goodness. You love that interactive one. Okay, the one with the triangles. Oh, well, hello. I'm going to pronounce this wrong, so I'm going to apologize now. Is it Jack Burrios? So yeah, so that's what we got to do when it came to that. And again, I didn't go into too many details because again, a lot of this is going to go out into the Podia community, both free and paid. Again, no one's going to miss out. Again, when you're going into the paid version, there's more resources in there because again, it takes a long time to put that together when it comes to that. But please don't think just because you're going to stay in the free. I'm grateful that you're there, and I love the fact that you are there. We're going to have a lot of fun in that group. I cannot say thank you enough, and how honored and humbled I was after last week. I had my phone. My phone was just dinging, and I didn't understand why. And what was happening was you all were joining the community. So I do hope you'll join me over there. And again, I will have it linked down below if you are curious and want to check it out, read up a little bit what each level is and what it's about. I will be staying on YouTube. I'm not going anywhere. I'm always, as long as I'm here, meaning not on vacation, not in another conference or anything like that, I will always be going live on Sundays. And if that day should change, I will let you know what day it will be. I enjoy these weekly lives, and I will have videos, other videos throughout the month when it comes to other projects that I am working on as well. So please don't think I'm leaving YouTube. I just want to go. My creative journey is taking me into another world, another travel and adventure. And I think that's great. And I hope that you all will join me with that. So again, I will have the link down to the Podia. If you are interested in these stamps, I will have that link down below as well so that you'll see it when we go into the replay mode. Remember, you're going to have until midnight, 11:59 on the 20th to get to my post section on my YouTube channel, or I think it's called Post now. I don't think they call it the community. So again, go to my homepage, click on my face when you're watching the video. It takes you to my homepage, and you'll see videos, playlists, lives, shorts, and then you'll see either post or community, and then about. Click on the post or community, and you'll see that post there. And you get to let me know which bundle is your favorite. Where did I put the bundles? Oh my goodness. I found the bundles. So which bundle is your favorite? Again, I apologize. This is not opened up to international, but again, I'm working on something for you all. So please don't Don't get too frustrated. And in the comments there, not here, in the comments there, let me know which bundle you like. 1, 2, or 3. Or if you like them all, then that's fine. You will be printed out, that comment will be printed out 3 times and put into the respective pile. All the comments will be pulled down, printed, put into a container where I will pull one winner out for each of these. I will respond to your comment in that community YouTube post. And I will say, you got it, congratulations, or yay you, congratulations. And that's when you need to email me. And again, my email is the same as my YouTube channel name, include a thank you at gmail.com. You will email me and let me know you commented on me. Okay. And then you must write what that is. And I will confirm it with you. Okay. So please know that. You've got, and I will make sure to check with all of this going on. There will be something that you will have to identify and put on there in some way, and I'll know if it's not you. All right? So, those are the announcements that I have. Thank you so much for you all joining me. I truly, truly do appreciate it. I am absolutely floored at the number of wonderful community members that we have and how that grew. Very humbled, very honored, and thank you so much. But we won't ever shut it down. I will not close it up. Everyone who wants to be there in either level will be welcomed. All right, so make sure you look at the rules, and I still have to put the welcoming video together as well. So, guys, I hope you have a great day. This was a long stream. Oh my goodness, we need to stop. We are 3 hours. Go enjoy the rest of your day. Have fun. If you're crafting, great. Create beautiful art and enjoy the process. That's all you have to do. And it's just paper. That's all it is. It's not a precious metal, although I think it's a precious medium. But just have fun with it. Guys, I will talk to you. Look for videos this week, and I will see you live next Sunday. Till then, take care.